Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Asa Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. Lord Boar penetrated the water with his hooves, which were like sharp arrows, and found the limits of the ocean, although it was unlimited. He saw the earth, the resting place for all living beings, lying as it was in the beginning of creation, and he personally lifted it. Purport. The word rasayam is sometimes interpreted to mean rasatala, the lowest planetary system. But that is not applicable in this connection. According to Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, the Earth is 7 times superior to the other planetary systems, namely Tala, Atala, Talatala, Mitala, Rasatala, Patala, etc. Therefore, the Earth cannot be situated in the Rasatala planetary system. It is described in the Vishnu Dharma. Patala muleshvara bhogasam hatau vinyasya padau pritivimcha bitrataha yasyopamanuna babhavasum chutu mamatsu mangalaya vibritaye hari. Therefore the Lord found the earth on the bottom of the Garbhodaka ocean, where the planets rest during the devastation at the end of Brahma's day. Kurai kshuraprai tarayam stadappa utpara param triparu rasayam tadarsha gam tatra susupsuragire yam tiva danim svayam abudataha. The Lord penetrated the water with his hooves, which were like sharp arrows, and found the limits of the ocean, although it was unlimited. He saw the earth, the resting place for all living beings, lying as it was in the beginning of creation, and he personally lifted it. Namo Vishnu Padai Krishna Peshtai Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shanyavari Pachata Deshatarine. So the Lord expanded himself into like an enormous size. First, as we know, he came out of the nose of Brahma, just being a little, like a little speck. And then very quickly, he expanded himself and became really, really huge. And then in the previous verse, I heard yesterday it was that 29. So I prepared something with that, but now it's 30. So I say something also about the previous verse. So he was. It was like a shock for the ocean because so huge. It's interesting how in the Vedic understanding is that behind all the energies there are personalities. It's not something. Nothing is impersonal. So it's and it's interesting also in old stories, old histories from the Nordic regions and the Greek culture and like that, it's always speaking about behind, like the forest. The forest actually is ultimately a person, or the water, the ocean, the lake. It's a person, the wind, and so on. So it's everything is person. So we can, like Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Aham sarvasya prabhavo matta sarva pravartate iti matra bhayantamam buddha bhava samamvitaha. I'm the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything is emanating from me. And the wise who have complete knowledge of this engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts. So ultimately, it's Supreme Personality Godhead who is behind everything. But then he's also delegating to devas, different kind of demigods who are in charge of different energies. But the Supreme Lord is the cause of all causes. So it's so in this way one can. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita in different ways how one can indirectly know him. Like he says, Rasaham apsakontiya, I'm the tasting water. So the water, it's very special when it's pure. The real quality, it's so much appreciated, pure water, especially nowadays. It's a lack of water on earth. And so much impurities are there. So Rasaham apsakontiya, I'm the taste in water. The original, that means it comes from Krishna, and that's the best, the origin. So Rasaham apsakontiya. And Prabhupada, he many times said that if you just think about Krishna when you drink the water, if you are just aware and conscious that just taste it, it's so easily happens. One is absent-minded. One is thinking about so many other things. But if you just taste and think about it, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, I am the taste in water. So Prabhupada said, immediately you are Krishna conscious. Immediately. So it's, in one sense, it's so simple. Rasam apsakontiya, where he says, Prabhashmi shashashurayo, I'm the light of the sun and moon. So we see the sun today, and we are so used to it, to see the sun. But it's actually a great miracle, isn't it? It's completely mystical. This huge disk there in the sky, and it gives heat and light, and we're completely depending on it. So Krishna says, Prabhashmi shashashurayo, I'm the light of the sun and moon. So if you just become aware and conscious of what Krishna speaks about in Bhagavad Gita, it actually, in all the steps in our daily life, we can easily become Krishna conscious. Just tasting the water, seeing the sun, the moon, like that. So when Prabhupada was in Stockholm, it's interesting, I think maybe you have heard the story, he was giving a public program at a student place, Koren. And so Vegavan and Ajit, they had, when they were doing Harinam downtown Stockholm in the 1973, they just arrived in Sweden. So every day they were doing Harinam and distributing books. And so there was a gang of alcoholics who they became friends with. They liked the devotees. And so they gave them prasadam, and they were just merciful to them. So then they invited them to this program, this public program, and they came. And Prabhupada, he recognized, Prabhupada was so aware of everything. So he recognized that they were in the back and a gang of alcoholics. So Prabhupada said that If you simply think I'm the taste in wine, in alcohol, then you will gradually become Krishna conscious. So he was like really extending himself and reaching out for them. And Bhagavan Prabhu, and he told me that they liked Prabhupada very much. And they appreciated it. They appreciated that example also. I'm the taste in wine. If you just think about Krishna says, I'm the taste in everything, then immediately you are Krishna conscious. So it's so practical. But it's interesting, behind all the energies there are personalities. Sometimes when I'm in schools, I give the example like we have lights here. So it's an energy. So where is this energy coming from? So we can understand it's coming from some powerhouse. But in that powerhouse, there is someone who is responsible. Someone is the chief there, and who has actually the responsibility that it's distributed, and it's also manifesting here in the form of this light. So we don't see that person now in the powerhouse who is actually responsible, but we can understand that person must exist. It's not just manifesting here an energy from nothing. It's intelligence behind it, and ultimately it's a person behind it. So that's just a simple example behind energies that we can experience here now, that we are creating its personalities behind it. Or Prabhupada gives this example, if you just go downtown, for instance, Copenhagen, so if you see if you just start to reflect on all the things, it's quite complicated, like the traffic lights, the different kind of how the traffic is arranged, and all the different arrangement in the city. It's really complicated. So how can one say it's a chance? In every detail it's planned. Like in this room here, that the windows have that size. Someone has planned it carefully. Or the heating is that size, and that the light from the sky here, or the fence, and everything, in each detail, there's personalities behind it. Someone planned it, and someone executed it, put it there. So it's so easy to understand. So now when we see the universe, it's so much more complicated. So to see it's just a chance, it just makes no sense whatsoever. So these examples, like Rasaham Apsakontiya, Prabhashmisha Shurayo, it just helps us to become conscious in everything we are doing, that Krishna is behind everything. Or he says, Punyo Gandha Pritivyam Cha. I'm the original fragrance of earth. So it's a very special fragrance, especially now in the springtime, in the morning, if you go out and use it. It's a special fragrance. So we can just not be aware of it, but we can also be aware of it. Krishna says, I'm the original fragrance of earth. And that actually makes all the difference in the world, in a very practical way. As we become aware of Krishna's words in Bhagavad Gita, and we see the world around us through, it's called Shastra Shakshu, to see through the eyes of the Shastras. So, Punyagana Prithvivyam Cha Tejas Chasmi Bibivasa. I'm the heat in fire. That's what's amazing with the fire. Without fire we cannot heat, we cannot cook. And Jivanam Sarvabhutishu, I'm the life and all that lives. So Krishna is the life in everything. And he says, Bala, Bala Vatav Shaham, I'm the strength of the strong. So this is, actually humility means that one understands I'm not a doer, the strength I have, the intelligence I have, the abilities I have, it's actually simply by grace. It's by mercy. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that Sarva Sacham Ridhisthani Vishtu Mata Smriti Jnanam Aponacha, that I'm in everyone's heart as a super soul. And from me comes remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. So when we remember something, we forget something, and we have knowledge, it's actually the super soul, the Paramatma, who gives that ability. I'm the ability in man, so I'm the strength of the strong. But due to the false ego, the ahankara, the living entities are so eager to take credit for thinking I'm the doer, and want to impress others about what I'm doing. Like if you are a good musician, for instance. So how common it is, one just take the credit. Yes, I'm very good. But if you want to get into this, as it's called, the flow, so then one should understand that I just simply want to be an instrument. That is perfection. It's simply become an instrument. Like when you distribute books, we have that experience. When you get into the flow, if you simply understand I'm not a doer, and Krishna is acting and gives me the inspiration, the abilities from within, and you suddenly say something, or you act something, and you are amazed yourself. Oh, and how that person is responding to that, and so that's the real life. The real life is that we are not. We don't take the credit. We just see how wonderful Krishna is. How Krishna is acting. He's behind everything, and I just simply want to be an instrument. I just simply want to be a servant. So Bala Vatasham, I'm the strength of the strong. I know Johann Sebastian Bach, the famous composer music, classical music. So he signed his compositions Theo de Gloria. So that means the glories goes to God. So he had some realization that some or other he just got so inspired to note down music, and it turned out so wonderfully. People are still listening to it. It's so famous still. So, but he had that humility, at least to some degree, that he could understand that some or other this inspiration, this ability, it's coming from God. Theo de Gloria. The glories goes to God. He didn't take credit for it. But when we take credit, then we're blocking that energy. And immediately actually we are suffering. When we try to be something which we are not, immediately we are suffering. isn't it? It's and when we are naturally ourselves, who we actually are, that means servant of the servant of the servant, then it's just immediately happiness is there. And all these anxieties and pressure and problems, they are just gone. But it's so, at the same time, difficult to free oneself from that ahankara, false ego, because of these desires that some or other I want to enjoy. So, but actually we are meant to enjoy, but we are meant to enjoy by serving the Lord. That's the highest pleasure. Like Gornitai, Shishipanchatattva, they come to experience that pleasure of just being a servant. So that's higher pleasure. So we want to enjoy, yes, so we can enjoy to the topmost degree if we just understand we are not enjoyers. We are the servants. And then naturally the enjoyment comes. But then one is not interested in enjoyment in itself, but just want to see the Lord happy. If the Lord smiles, if the Srila Prabhupada smiles, if Prabhupada is happy, then that's just perfect. Everything is without any problems. So it's a very wonderful pastime, this with the Lord Varahadev, how he's appearing in this form. And so it's described there are unlimited forms of the Lord, just like the waves from the ocean. They are unlimited. You can just stand there and new waves. So in a similar way, there are so many different appearances of the Supreme Personality Godhead. But some are more prominent, and Lord Varaha is one of them. Lord Nishingadev, Vamandev, and so on. We observe some of them being very prominent like this. So it's Bhagavad Gita is a wonderful book, and Srimad Bhagavatam is the Prabhupada said it's the topmost literature. He said there is no literature in the whole universe as Srimad Bhagavatam. It's only about pure devotional service, the topmost philosophy, the topmost religion. So, like it says in the Bhagavatam, completely rejecting all religious activities which are materially motivated, this Bhagavad Purana propounds the highest truth, which is understandable by those who are completely pure in heart. So that is this purification of the heart is it's so practical, and it's we spoke about it last night also, that the chanting of the holy name, Prabhupada said it's or the chanting of the 16 rounds is most important service. He says that, all services are important, but this is most essential, the chanting of the 16 rounds, because if the heart becomes pure, so then everything changes. Everything. Our life changes. Mahatma Prabhu, he says, change your japa, change your life. So it's just directly connected. And we all have that experience some days when we chant better rounds. Immediately the effect is so profound. I remember many years ago I was distributing books in Norrköping in Sweden, and the day before it had been a terrible day. my consciousness was not good. And I was suffering like anything in the street. But somehow or other I got that determination the next morning. Now I just want to make a complete change in my attitude, in my chanting. And Krishna reciprocated with that, and those rounds became very special. They became, I really felt the effect of that. And when I went out in the street, it was just like day and night. Suddenly I could connect to people in a completely natural way. And they were enthusiastic, and I was enthusiastic, and so it was from that japa. I remember someone asked Prabhupada, how did you do this? How could you spread the holy name like this around the world? And then Prabhupada at that time, he pointed to he had his hand in the bead bag, and he pointed to the japa, the chanting. So that's where the real power comes from. It's so practical, and we don't have to wait for the change. Today is Ekadashi, so it's a special opportunity to try to chant a little extra and go a little deeper and see the effect, the result in a very practical way. We want to spread the chanting of the holy name, we want to spread the Sankirtan movement, but actually the most powerful way is the example of the devotees. If devotees are happy, inspired, have faith, determination, and all these qualities, people see that. And it's coming from chanting sincerely. We go on to
Quarter to 9, 10 to 9, with a couple of questions. You can start with that.
Yes. Maybe you have some questions, something we can discuss, some comments.
There's one. How has japa developed over the years? How would you describe that? Your japa is much more intense and contact with Krishna now than it was before. How is that?
My experience is that Krishna is putting me, and I guess everyone, in different circumstances where you become more and more helpless. You just have to depend on the shelter of the Lord, and that means you are like forced to take more shelter of hearing the holy name. So Krishna, in a very personal way, helps the devotees to make progress, and just more and more realize there is no other shelter, there is no other hope than taking shelter of the holy name. So this is, if we just try our best, so then we come to this clearing stage when we chant. So I remember Giraj Maharaj, he once asked Prabhupada that he had so many responsibilities, he took so much pressure on himself. It was in Mumbai, they were building up this, or they tried to get this Hare Krishna land, and he was under so much pressure, and he just told Prabhupada, it's so difficult for me to chant japa, so many things are just on my mind going on there. naturally. If you have, there are legal court cases and different envious persons who try to trick you and all these things. So he asked Prabhupada, is it Namaparad? I'm chanting Namaparad. And then Prabhupada asked him a question back, and he said, do you try to hear? And then Giraj Maharaj, he thought for some time and said, yes, I try. And then Prabhupada said, then it's not offensive. So this is what if we want to make progress, we should think about that. Yes, we try our best. The mind naturally goes here and there, but as soon as we become aware of it, immediately bring it back, bring it back, bring it back. So in my experience, I feel my Krishna's grace, it puts me in situations where I'm forced to more and more just take shelter, otherwise there's no hope. So in this way there is some progress. What is your experience?
Well, my experience is, well, I'm struggling with my rounds as much as ever. It's a good point that Krishna seemingly puts us in a helpless condition. I had the expectation that after some period, especially after a good number of years, we've been chanting like that. At this time, Radha and Krishna would be dancing on the tongue. I would desire thousands of tongues, millions of years, millions of years to listen to the holy name. But I wouldn't say this is not really what I'm experiencing. So I'm a little surprised by that. It's not I guess it's never comes an automatic thing, just like on a bicycle, you just going downhill. It just goes automatically. But chanting, I think it doesn't come to that point. One has to consciously chant and hear every moment. That never stops.
Mukunda Prabhu, he speaks about just hear one mantra. Just one mantra. He said, for the mind, it's if you think now I should hear my rounds, it's just too much for the mind. But if you think, okay, one mantra. So I heard he had this japa workshops, and he really emphasizes it's just this mantra, and that's enough. So when you chanted that, you heard that mantra, then next mantra, this mantra. So that's, of course, that's techniques. But ultimately it's mercy. We should endeavor, we should try, we should strive. But ultimately it's whatever we are doing during the day. If you have the right attitude in our service, so then it very much affects the japa in our relationships with others. If there's loving exchanges and service attitude, then it's very much, it reflects also in the japa, in our japa. Something else?
In addition to that, you told about this hearing. Here, that we have heard also like the three types of chanting: loud and
whispering, soft.
soft chanting in the mind.
Mm.
So sometimes we see devotee chant, they're like not speaking at all. And we are also heard that chanting in mind is best one. I don't know. I'm just putting this thing. So
Mm.
how should we do chanting? Should we do in mind or hear the mantra?
Prabhupada was speaking that we should hear it, but like Haridas Thakur, he chanted, it's called, I think, Manasa, Upamsa and Vachik. Manasa in the mind, 64 rounds he chanted in the mind, and then softly, 64 rounds, and then loudly, Vachik, 64 rounds. So it's, but Prabhupada said generally it's more easy if you hear it. It's easier to like focus the mind if you hear the sound vibration. But if it's not possible, you can also do it in the mind.
Can we say like that if one will chant 198 rounds, then he should try to chant in mind?
I think it's no Mahatma Prabhu. He speaks a lot about the holy name and japa, and he says that it's not like any very hard, specific formula. It's also individual. It can work different for different devotees. But Prabhupada, he gave these instructions like just try to hear yourself chanting sincerely. And he said that just try to hear the holy name, focus on the holy name and also pronounce it correctly. So that can help. Like sometimes one can recording oneself chanting. Just sometimes one becomes surprised or shocked. So one should be careful that it doesn't become like autopilot. You do it like just routine, but one should always be try to improve it. Radhanath Swami speaks about increase, improve, and maintain. That's a formula. Increase, improve, and maintain. So one can.
What did you say? Implore?
Improve. Improve.
I don't understand that. Improve. Okay.
Improve. Improve, increase, and maintain. So that one could also imply to japa. I know Bhagavad Dharma Prabhu, have you been here? Bhagavad Dharma Prabhu is a traveling preacher. He comes to Almiktam sometimes. And he's all the time, he's working on more and more rounds. He said he's convinced that Prabhupada, he actually wanted us to chant 64 rounds. So he's very determined to gradually come to that standard. So this is just an example of improve, increase, and maintain. Just try to make things better with more quality, and especially the japa, but also the reading. And the reading, of course, gets very much affected by how we are chanting our japa. I remember Ravindra Swarup Prabhu, he spoke about that when you really start to hear the holy name, suddenly Prabhupada's books become so much more interesting. Oh, it's so wonderful how Prabhupada is putting this. Suddenly you see it. So as we said, everything is opening up. So improve, increase and maintain, that could help.
As far as I know, Bhagavatam is also quite an active person. Like you said, was he the one who was running also marathons?
Yeah.
This is also something. This is also something that I can feel difference with. Well, moving the body, that also makes a great difference. Especially if we can connect it also with the movement of Lord Chaitanya, like singing and dancing. I can at least see a difference in myself when we really dance, and I find that it's a thing that's been neglected a lot, I would say. That we should also dance, actually. We should actually do this. What are your thoughts on this, actually? Engaging the body also more in service?
I mean, that's a perfection we use. Pardon?
Engaging our body more sincerely in devotional service. So that also can help our chanting so that we can get physically both stronger, and when the body gets stronger, the mind can also get stronger. Because it's easier to control the body than to control the mind. That's at least what I've heard.
We all have our unique bodies, different natures, and different needs like that, and we are in different ages. I remember when I joined, I was 22. I was always running here and there, running on Sankirtan and running in the temple, and very, really using the energy. And it felt very good. And one should, when one has that energy, one should use it for Krishna. But then there are other stages, getting older, and you have to have the same spirit. You physically might not be able to run around like that, but you can have that spirit more internally. So the important thing is that we use the body and understand what kind of body we have. So I know you have been speaking about that. This Kung Fu is really like also supporting your inspiration for service, and also more dancing on Harinam and like that. So that's one principle. We should accept what is favorable for devotional service. But it's not like everyone is the same. We have different varnas, we have different natures, we have different bodies, and so we just had to. Prabhupada, he was so expert just to seeing how to fan the spark, whatever little, like Jadurani, she was, had an interest for painting, and immediately Prabhupada arranged for her to paint. And she became expert gradually. In the beginning, she wasn't very expert, and Prabhupada, he let her paint just I think it was at the 26th 2nd Avenue, just very close to his room. So he was overseeing her, and so she really got into it, and so Prabhupada encouraged different devotees. Some became good farmers, some became good preachers or translators, and then the physical in different services there are different kind of naturally differences how we use our physique, but Prabhupada, he was taking morning walks, and he was walking fast, very fast. Even those who were in the 20s, they really almost had to run because he was walking so fast. And he said it was very important for him. So he accepted that. It was his doctor. The devotees thought he was offensive. He said, the old man, he said, the doctor, he's praying too much. He should start to mow around. So it seemed like it was quite gross how he expressed it. But it's amazing how Prabhupada, he took it as Krishna. He saw the essence, okay, and then he started the morning walks from that day on. And he did it all the time. And I know they were in St. Moritz in Switzerland, and it was too much snow outside and they couldn't take the morning walk, so Prabhupada was walking in the hotel corridor, back and forth, same time. Quick walking in the corridor. So, but we are individuals also.
In relation to this verse, the earth went to, it was drowned in the Garbhottang ocean, and then it is said like Rasatal. So Rasatal is also under the water, or it is the water? I just wanted to understand. So these planets are what I understand, like it's like moving in space. The downstairs planets are in water, or there is like space, or
I think Lalitana Prabhu is better to answer that question.
Oh, not really, but I mean, Prabhupada discusses it in the purport, and these lower planetary systems, they're definitely not underwater, but they're under the earth. They're subterranean planets. So what does that mean? So there's different opinions what that means. Are they within the earth, or is it? At least if sunlight doesn't reach there. Under the earth, under water, no, that's not. I never heard it that they should be underwater. Probably also, speaks against that.
At a time of devastation, is it like that?
The time of devastation, of course, in there flooded, that was the earth and most planets.
it should not be in perfect way. That water should, earth should not, earth is above than this. The earth is 7 times superior to the other planetary system, namely Tala, Atala, Talatal, Vital, Rasatal, Satal, etc. Therefore, earth cannot be situated in the Rasatal planetary system. So, and where are they enter in the water?
Earth is special.
Yeah, earth is special. They're like what pictures come in the mind, where are they enter in the water? Right? Because before this was, we enter in the water. Diving into the water like a giant mountain. And now this was here. So these planetary system downstairs, Tala, they are in water or they are, that's not.
What I understand, not in the water now. As you,
Not in the water.
I must admit I don't have a clear picture of it, understanding of it.
That's why I asked this question. And we have told for right that you should not do this. That cannot be situated in the Rasatal planetary system. I
just know that Prabhupada speaks about that. It's why the earth is so good, because it's a balance between suffering and enjoyment. So it's easy to take to self-realization. You don't become intoxicated like in the heavenly regions or in the lower regions. You're just too much struggle for existence. So here is somehow balance, and it's and Prabhupada emphasizes just now, this lifetime. You finish your business now, this lifetime. You can do it. And we can see how many devotees have been successful. So earth is very auspicious. And we are here, and we are just when the Sankirtan movement now is spreading, and it's very, very special, very auspicious.